It's hard at 45 not to feel like one of the old dudes in the room, but perhaps it's fitting so that I can share a story from history. It starts with a young man that was born very, very poor, dirt poor, in a very rural community of Missouri. He managed to graduate from high school, then he went off to serve his country in World War II, where he frankly had a very distinguished career. He was also very gifted in mathematics. He had a gift for speech, was a very good salesperson, and coming out of the war, side trivia note, he had approximately $40,000 in earnings through poker. Mr. Kauffman was a very good and gifted poker player, but he went to work for a company, as many people and young people do. Because you have to understand, this is at a time before the word entrepreneur was in our common lexicon, right? This was long before the term was ever even popular. So he went off and he worked for a company as a salesman, and he was very good. He was so good that under their commission plan, he earned more money than was ever envisioned to be paid to any employee. As a matter of fact, the year that under the commission plan he was on, he would have earned actually more than the CEO of the company. They continued to shrink his territory, and it was at that breaking point he did something that many young people do. He suggested that they perhaps are no longer compatible for one another. I'm sure he said it in a more colorful way than that. And he went off and he started a company. That company was Marion Labs, because that was his middle name, Ewing Marion Kauffman. He didn't want to be the guy that was in the garage making what was then the first calcium supplement. Today we take nutraceuticals for granted, but this was truly a revolutionary product at the time, and he'd run around restaurants during the day and get used oyster shells and sterilize them and crush them and put them in gel caps, and then he'd go sell them to doctors' offices. And he was very good at that, and he built a little company around that, a company that he believed should share the wealth with others, the employees, or associates as he was famous for calling them. And they worked very hard on that little company, and they grew it into something that was pretty nice. It was so nice that when it was acquired by Merrill Dow Pharmaceuticals, over 350 of his earliest employees, associates that were there with him in the beginning, all became millionaires overnight. 50 of those people went on to take their found fortune and start companies of their own. So if you, in fact, were to do a genealogical research of the entrepreneurial family tree in greater Kansas City, you'd find a tremendous root right there with Marion Labs. And so it is that when he finally did, meet his great reward, he had amassed a personal fortune in excess of $4 billion. Not bad for a poor kid growing up in rural Missouri. But that is the essence, the power of entrepreneurship. To endow a foundation like ours to continue his good work, to support people like you that are doing this. It gives us the good fortune to speak truth to power and explain to our elected officials the importance of understanding what a genuine job creator is, not what one that makes a convenient soundbite during a political season might be. We dare to speak the truth that we need immigration reform now in this country, and I don't mean in a xenophobic way that they're taking our jobs. I mean it in the genuine way that almost 1/3 of all high-growth firms in this country have a foreign national at the helm. Earlier this week, I served as a judge at the Collegiate Inventors Competition over at the Patent and Trademark Office. I got to sit with Director Kapos as we acknowledged incredibly gifted teams, your age group, that are inventing biomedical and IT and advanced material, technology and IP that's going to change the way we live. There's business opportunities in there for people like you, the entrepreneurs, to build empires with this technology. Fully 40% are immigrants. So why in God's name would we just ask them to leave when they're coming here to build their fortunes? Because after all, we're all entrepreneurs at heart. And that doesn't matter from your country of origin. Great ideas are not limited that way. And that's why we also seed and support other organizations that are doing great ideas and great work like this great organization and the work that Michael is doing and his staff, which is really exceptional, and we're frankly very proud to be associated with this. It's why we've backed and launched Global Entrepreneurship Week. That was just in 2008. This year, over 37,000 events are taking place in over 123 countries. Think about that. It's gone on and taken a life of its own, and it's also why we support things like the Startup America Partnership, with the Case Foundation and with the White House. This administration understands the importance of entrepreneurship, and we're proud to help them, elevate that to the status that it deserves so that we can change the dialogue in this country. So from behalf of the Kauffman Foundation, our pledge to you is to continue to do the work we're doing, to elevate entrepreneurs from the status of white noise of our economy to the drivers that they are, and hopefully elevate the appreciation that the general public has for what you do. And on behalf of all my colleagues at the Foundation, I thank you for what you do. You truly are ensuring the future for all of us. Thank you.